Hello. I'm just absolutely appalled that I can read today that the newsmax.com, which I assume to be a Republican website, is calling for people to send him money for to pay for the or to compensate the soldiers involved in the Haditha killing. I mean, this is so weird. I've never come across this before, and I'm not a Republican, and I'm not a liberal either. I served 9 years in the military, and yes, I'm a Brit, but you know, I have a sense of fair play. I was appalled when I saw America split in two over the O.J. Simpson thing, and kind of shrugged it off, but was totally aghast and unbelieving of the fact that people would just vote one way or the other depending on their colour, it seemed to me, as to who was guilty and who should go free, etc. And here we have this all over again. I mean, to my knowledge, there's a lot of evidence that this actually happened, and I wouldn't be surprised if such things haven't happened more than this once. I mean, I say I was in the military. I know what soldiers are like. I know what soldiers can be like. I like to think that I was different from most of them, but I saw a lot of soldiers who, you know, came from backgrounds whereby, put in a situation like that, they would make the wrong choices. I know that on a night exercise once, that coming across in Germany, a group of German guys with their girlfriend or whatever, as platoon leader, I had to stop guys from military, my soldiers, colleagues, from joining in what had been a very, very unlawful, illegal activity just in the heat of the moment. And, you know, I am positive that more events like this have gone unrecorded, and for this setup, this organization, which I take to be Republican, to actually be condoning and supporting and wanting to compensate people who are going before the courts. It seems, if I remember right, that the Marines have already compensated the families to the tune of, well, I can't remember what the sum is, but I think it's a considerable amount. Well, it's not a considerable amount in American terms. It's paltry. It's probably about $5,000 per head or some stupid figure like that. But the point is that, you know, what is America saying to the world when this is happening? That, you know, there's this partitioning happening all over again. It's not the O.J. Simpson thing of, you know, because someone was beaten up, I think Rodney King or whatever, because someone was beaten up in LA, therefore O.J. Simpson should get away with it. This is incredible that, you know, if these guys should be found guilty, that a group of people are going to come forward and compensate them for their ills. And I just cannot believe that America is capable of such a crass and tardy move, and that they would tolerate it. I just can't believe that individuals would tolerate it, purely and simply because, what? Because they're Republicans, and because they're for the war. And, you know, because you're for a war, you have to be against everything else. You have to be against honesty. You have to be against the rule of law and compensate these people. I mean, it's bad enough that the president can go against the courts and stop Libby from going to jail. That's disgusting. But this is more so because, you know, people can say, well, it's not the American people, it's the American leadership that made that decision, and they can be maybe hopefully forgiving of it. But if they read like I do today, that there are lots of people are quite accepting of the fact that, you know, it's not real, it didn't happen, the war's a great thing, therefore anything that goes on within the war is fine, and if guys killed innocent civilians in Haditha, that's okay, they were just doing their job, they were being good Marines. Oh sure, yeah, I mean, you know, let's not question a Marine, shall we? And what makes it even worse, you know, is that the rest of the world hold their soldiers responsible for war crimes. Any other soldier in any other nation in the world, almost as to my knowledge, who commits such an atrocity is liable to be brought up for war crimes. But the President, in his infinite wisdom, protects the American servicemen, the American military, from having those same parameters. So American soldiers, sailors, airmen are the only ones in the world, apparently, who are beyond redemption, who cannot be to book for war crimes. I mean, you know, what does this tell the world? What about the Geneva Convention? What about just pure and simple, you know, honesty? There really has to be something done, and someone must speak up about it. You can't have people like Savage and Hannity and Bortz and Limbaugh saying that these things are all right, you know, and just because they're opposed to anything liberal, therefore they've got to sanction the killing of civilians. And it's clear that these guys went on the rampage, and I think everyone pretty much knows that. So where is this protection coming from, and how can you possibly go against the courts and compensate or pay for the defense of these people who obviously had done the wrong thing? It's been documented. There are people who were in that group who have come clean, and I can't see that there's very much likelihood of it being falsified. So, but just how dishonest is it? You know, it's just back to the Wild Bill Hickok philosophy of there not being a sheriff in the town, it's the roughest man who makes the decisions. And that's what we seem to have. We seem to have Billy the Kid in power, and we seem to have the James gang cleaning up after him. And really, you know, I want to be proud of the nation that I have adopted. I want to be proud of my America. I'm a Brit, but you know, I chose to come here. I chose to come here because of things that I liked about being here. And one of those was, you know, that I just like the freedom and the chance to that there is for people to get on. But more and more since 9/11, I'm seeing things that I really do have to worry about, things that the rest of the world is surely worrying about. And I want us to be squeaky clean, and I want it to happen soon. And if it's a change of government that makes that happen, or the end of talk radio, or the end of newsmax.com, or whatever it takes, but something must happen to clean this act up. Thank you.